Alright y'all, so we've been focusing a lot on tax liens lately because it is lien season. Lien season is going to end soon, so we only have a few more weeks left with lien season, and then we're going to roll back into tax deeds. I wanted to make sure that we didn't get off track with tax deeds because those are all year round. So I went ahead and went into Property Onion for myself just to see what's coming up. I personally love to do land. I don't like to deal with tenants, toilets, all those fun things. That's your gig. Awesome. Go for it. But you can see here, I've got a saved search that I go ahead and do for any of the upcoming land in Property Onion. Now, I went ahead and just looked for this month, to the end of this month. I don't like to look ahead too much, right? So let me go ahead and filter out to get to just this month. And we're gonna have exactly 1,000 properties, so that's good. Property Onion has a little bit of a glitch that they won't export more than 1,000 rows, so that's actually perfect for us. So I went ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and export these, and we'll check those out. All right, so we've got our data here, and you can see we do have our 1,000 rows, okay, with our header row. Your spreadsheet's gonna look probably a little bit different than mine if you do use Property Onion. Just because everybody has different rows and columns, which is why I love the property, because you can customize it. So what I like to do first, just to go through the vacant land, is actually see the actual land use. So everything in here is technically land. And what I want to do is see if there's any little golden nuggets. Okay, so there's not going to be any actual land use subcategories for a lot of these. But what I can do is filter this. And for some reason we have activities associated with utilities. This is not good. We don't want this. This is probably like an easement or something like that. So we're gonna go ahead and cancel those out. And next we have commercial vacant land. That's good, I like that. Household is basically the same thing as residential. It's just that some counties may call it something different, just like it says residential vacant land. So all three of these are the same. This social, cultural, or religious assembly is very interesting to me. This has an assessed value of only, let me open these up here. Now we can see. Assessed value of 15,000. That's not good. County market value also is 15,000. You know, 15,000 is nothing to snuff at, but when we're trying to make 10,000, that leaves us very little room, unless we can get this for pennies on the dollar, which the opening bid here is $42.90. That's not going to be worth it. Just for shoots and goggles, let's go ahead and check this one out and see what it looks like. And I'm on the property assessment website here, and it says property use code of churches. Okay, so this may have been a church at one time and probably got demolished. We can go ahead and open up the map and see what the map looks like. So after turning on the aerial, so it's technically this lot right here in the middle, 5905, and then this one over here, 5905. So they're separated by this street here. If I wanted to get a street view, I can kind of try to find a different property. If it'll pull up, doesn't look like it will. So really, this isn't too important for me. So I see railroad tracks here. The fact that this is labeled as a church really isn't a big issue or a big deal. I just kind of thought it was interesting, but the fact that it is only 15,000 in assessed land value, I'm going to go ahead and pass on this one. So that leaves us now with the residential, which is the basic vacant land for single family homes, and also commercial. So when I sort by commercial, I've got 5 properties here, which is pretty good. There's not a lot of commercial property that comes up for auction. I can see this one right here. It has a $100 value. So this is probably just null and void vacant land, probably some sort of easement, something like that. Let's go ahead and check it out, see what that gives us. And it comes up for Eustace Block and Supply Company. So this could be some sort of easement off of another property that this person owns. Let's see if we can find a map here. Map view, there we go. So one thing that's interesting, this map view here, we only have a pinpoint. It actually doesn't show the outline of the property. But when I click on the eagle's eye view, it does show us the outline of the property, and you can see exactly this is just some weird split division. It's probably some sort of easement in the past or gas line or something that had to be attached, but this is probably the owner right here. So most likely you're not going to get anything from this, right? So you can buy it and you can tell the owner that they can't sell their property without this, but really there's so many things that you can do with it to circumvent the process. So we're definitely going to get rid of this one and pass on it. So that leaves us with the 4 commercial vacant lands. I see this one is only 402 square feet. Guys, that is nothing. We want to have at least 0.07 acreage. Really, we want 0.1. We want 1/10 of an acreage just so we can put a house on it, but I've seen them build as low as 0.07. So this is definitely not something we want. This is probably the same situation as the last one. We're going to go ahead and not bother with that. These other ones are pretty good. We've got 0.34618 acreage. Sorry for the kitty pass through there. These have an assessed value around 10,000. That's pretty decent. So the assessed value is always going to be usually lower than the actual value, right? This is the assessed value of how much their taxes are getting assessed on. So that's another video, another day. But just so you know, this assessed value take with a grain of salt, okay? So county value looks about the same. And I can see nothing really has probably been built on these because there's nothing in the year built or bathroom. Sometimes they leave that stuff in, so that way I know there's maybe a well or a septic system. So let's go ahead and check these out and see if they're good. We got Citrus, Brevard, and Polk. Those are all 3 good counties. And the first one we're looking at here is in Citrus. Looks like it's in the city of Denellen, which is a great one. I have a vacation rental just sold there, and that is an upcoming area for sure. They do have a lot of infill lots, though. It's definitely close to Ocala, which is another good one, which is Marion County. So this is Citrus County. So let me just clarify that. We're looking at Citrus County right now. I'm looking through just to see if anything stands out. I don't see anything popping out. Looks like the sales were a long time ago. It's non-waterfront. And let's just go ahead and check out the map and see what it looks like. Okay, so we've got, this is your typical infill lot, right? So somebody a long time ago subdivided a large parcel into little tiny squares, and they filled it in with houses. That's all an infill lot is. This looks like it has a double lot, and I'm seeing probably an old mobile home. You can tell by the rusted roofs. It could be a regular metal roof, but that is a small size home compared to the one next to it. And if we zoom out, we can see, so this is a very busy road. There we go. Yep, so this is actually on the south side of Denellen. So this south side of Denellen, this is a Withlacoochee River here. The south side, both sides are great. Okay, don't get me wrong. Both sides are great, but the south side is Citrus and the north side is Marion County. So Marion County tends to get a little bit more price, a little bit more value because it's a little higher residential areas. So there's a lot of good properties up in here. I actually had a property right around here. Oh, there it is. Property right here I sold for about $20,000. I got it for $4,000. The neighbor bought it and it was like a 10-day close. So this is really good property. This being commercial, I don't understand because it's all the way off of the actual street. And I don't see that there's any commercial stuff around it. So it's probably zoned for commercial. I know there's a lot of commercial stuff around here, like off of this road specifically, like tire guys and things like that. But I don't know that I would be wanting to buy this for a commercial price. Let's put it that way. So this one is not off the radar. Let's go ahead. I'm going to make this one just a yellow. Okay, we'll flag this as yellow. I'm going to need some more due diligence. Our opening bid here is $1,530. That's, even if it's a residential property, that's really good for that area if I can get it cheap enough. So let's move on to the next one here in Brevard County. And you can see Brevard looks a little different than Citrus. We've got all the kind of same information. We see it's 0.16 acres. We can confirm it's commercial land. Our market value. Now you can see this is interesting. So this was eventually a split off piece of property from a $2.5 million piece of land in 2001. That does not mean this was $2.5 million. That means there was a very big parcel and they chopped it up and then they made it one of these. Okay. Oh boy, this looks like fun. This could be hit or miss. Okay, so this looks exciting because it's waterfront, but I do not see any property on this side. Okay, you could have a really cool private fishing area. Or, let's see. Yep, I do not see anything else over here. Yeah, nothing. It's not buildable, guys. You know, it looks great. If you want your own private fishing area, block it off, put a fence up. I don't see anything else here. I don't even see a place to put a boat. Maybe there's a boat ramp down here. This is something I would pass on. Okay, so we've got our last one here. Let's go ahead and check that one out. And this is Polk County. Polk County is a good one. They have a lot of auctions, guys. They have a lot of auctions because it's very unique. Polk and Putnam have very unique properties that have like a lot of split lots that you can do a lot of really good seller financing if you're looking for lower end quick deals. So if you only have maybe $5,000, $10,000 to buy 1 or 2 or 3 properties, you can roll that over into seller financing for 4 years. You don't have to pay for the title search, the title clearing, which is about $2,000. So just a little tidbit there for those. This looks like a really good lot. I see that it is on, looks like a very busy road. We want that for commercial, and it's very large comparative to what is next to it. Okay, this one looks really good. I'm gonna probably put this one in the standby column to do some more information on it. And yep, I'm definitely gonna do some more work on this one. I see mostly homes. I don't like that because there's not a lot of commercial going on there, but I think this could have value. I do see it's kind of close to this road, to the railroad, and lots of farmland, huge parcels around there. So yep, we're gonna put this one in green. All right, and that does it for the commercial vacant land. So we've narrowed that down and taken out all the other ones we don't like. So we've only eliminated 10, right? I've got 990 properties coming up that I need to zip through. I am not gonna have time to go through every single one of these. So I do process of elimination. First thing I want to look at is the assessed value. Okay, this is very important. I can see that these are not worth my time. Okay, if the county is assessing them at $62, that is not what I want. Okay, I'm not even gonna go through all of these. So I don't have a hard limit on what the assessed value is, but because I have so many coming up this month, I am probably gonna go at least to 2,000, if not more. I'm probably gonna go down to 5,000. I know the land has gotten much higher since COVID, especially in the last few months in Florida, because of all the developments going on. So we have a lot of 4935. This is all Marion County, so these may be worth it. I know Marion's really good, so let me just drop off here at Lee. A lot of these are 4935. That's interesting. Let me go. I see Interlochen. A lot of properties in Interlochen. Those are good for seller financing. Don't get me wrong, but not my jam. Okay, so we have a lot of really expensive land here. I don't know why. This is interesting. It's Miami-Dade. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take out the counties I don't want first, and that'll reduce it as well. I personally do not bid in certain areas that I know I'm not gonna get anything for, because they go at either assessed value or higher. Miami-Dade is one of those. You will never get any deals probably in Miami-Dade unless you're really lucky. I'll just put it that way. I personally just don't like to do Miami-Dade. I don't have a deposit in there right now anyways, so I'd rather just put my money somewhere else. Palm Beach is decent. Palm Beach has a lot of good info lots. Pasco has a lot of previous mobile home lots, and that's where basically the mobile home was demolished. So sometimes you can get good deals on those. Yep, see, so there was a mobile home probably right there. Could have been a single family, but looks like if it's Pasco, it's probably a mobile home, especially at that assessed value. Polk is decent. You can get some deals in Polk. Santa Rosa is good. Santa Rosa is a very small county, but you can get some good deals up there as well. Sarasota is good. St. John's is great. Sometimes they hardly ever have tax deeds, actually, so it's interesting to see them. And St. Lucie and Volusia is good as well. Volusia is over by Daytona Beach, so sometimes you can get some beachfront properties. Walton is a good one that a lot of people don't really bid in. I've done a lot in Walton, and I love it. Defuniak Springs is kind of up and coming. I've sold a couple of tax deeds there and made some serious money, so that's one. Also, we got one here for $46,000. I definitely want to look at that in Santa Rosa. Yeah, Santa Rosa Beach, that's why. So that'll be a good one. All right, so look at that. We reduced it down from 990 to 343. Awesome. Doing good, doing good. All right, so let's go back to our assessed value. Again, I think I like these a lot. I have a lot of these up here with assessed value 475. That's very interesting to me. I think this is probably going to get redeemed. Hardly anything goes up that much. If you see anything above like 200, 250,000, it's probably going to get redeemed, guys. Like 99% chance it's going to get redeemed. Okay, but it's always something to keep on the radar. We'll keep that on the radar. That is coming up here. Let's see, what is that? Oh, that's in 3 days. I got to make sure I have a deposit there to even see if that's going to be worth it. 109 acres. Holy crap. That is not a typo. Okay, we got to look at this one. This is too good to not look at. All right, guys, check this out. St. Lucie Farmland LLC. So this is a farm. 109 acres. Whew. That's pretty. 109 acres, 475 appraised value. Yeah, I don't think anybody is going to let that go to auction, so we'll just put it that way. We can keep it on the radar. If it goes to auction, awesome. I can make another video about it, but we'll leave that one for now. All right, I've got these other ones. It looks like there's all in Palm Beach. Okay, these are all 6 figures in Palm Beach. Looks like they're probably infill lots. There's one here in Duval. Yeah, Duval's pretty popular. I'm not going to do Duval. We're going to mark that to watch later, but I am not going to bid on that in Duval. It's going to go way high. So the rest in Palm Beach here, we can watch these. I'll put them in blue so we can watch them, see if they go up or not. So now we're down to less than 6 figures. Okay, so this is pretty standard. Like if you guys are getting into this, you really need to have at least $5,000. Okay, minimum $5,000, and that's if you're doing seller financing. A really good value to have if you're just trying to get into this and buy some little small vacant land properties. Anywhere between 10 to 20,000 per property is really what you want to bid on. Okay, and that's getting into the infill lots, which are those tiny little, you know, square house lots in the suburbans neighborhoods, right? So with that said, I think we're pretty good on the assessed value. The next thing I'm going to look at is the flood zone. Okay, it's very important. I go over this a lot. If you see my other videos, I am very passionate, if you put it that way, about flood zones in Florida. Because I live here, I see sinkholes. Like, it happens, guys. Like, yes, there's gators in almost every body of water, and yes, there's sinkholes, okay? Especially in Pasco County, near Spring Hill. There's actually a sinkhole map that you can go online and look it up, and you can see the sinkholes. And over Spring Hill, it's like red. Like, it's just red. There's all the dots combined together, and it just looks like an explosion of red. So I know certain properties are prone to flood zones and sinkholes. I don't bid in those certain areas. So that's one thing that I will say. Flood zones are very important. Okay, just because it is in a flood zone doesn't mean it's not buildable. Doesn't mean that it's dangerous. There's a lot of things in flood zones, but I definitely want to look up if it is a zone A 100%. That means you probably are not going to find somebody that wants that. Okay, let's look up the FEMA map just for this one and see what's going on. All right, y'all, this is exactly what I was talking about. So this, obviously, you don't see any buildings around here. Okay, why? Why would you bid on this? This is gross. Nobody wants that property. Maybe over here, you know, if you had something over here, it looks like there's some sort of weird ant trails. Looks like a beach of some sorts. Maybe people go out there. But I don't see any properties anywhere. This is gross. Nobody wants this. Looks like maybe some farmland. I don't know what's going on there. They've cleared the path, grazing land. There's a sign of life. Boom. There's your sign of life right there. All right. You can see it's half in a flood zone. So like this property, if this went up for auction, it would totally be worth it. Anything in this other swampy area, not worth it. Just walk away. You're not going to make any money. There's enough properties out there to bid on. Okay, don't do it. So y'all, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's flood zone A 100%, that means it's not really buildable. Okay, why am I going to bid on something like that? Now, if it's flood zone A with a percentage, so this is A with a percent of 16. Okay, this is different. Okay, this means that 16% of that parcel is in flood zone A. The other 84% is not in a flood zone or area of minimal flood zone, which is X. Okay, so those are worth looking at. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate all these ones that are 100% A. Okay, that's just good business. Right? You reduce your risk. That's what we're trying to do. We have another one in flood zone AE with 100%. Again, same thing. Okay, let's go ahead and check this one out. Aha. So this is what I was talking about with these infill lots. These are really large infill lots. Okay, I don't know if these be considered infill lots at all, but let's see, what size is this property? This is Lehigh Acres. Lots in Lehigh Acres. You can pick up some good deals there. We are at, yep, 0.25. Okay, so somebody took this property and a developer split it all up and put it in as, I already forgot, 0.25 acre. That looks a lot bigger than 0.25. I don't know, there could be something wrong with that. We'll see. So anyways, so each of these lots is different. I can see that there are properties being built here. It looks like all these are pretty buildable. I would be very confident in bidding here. So this AE is probably more like a 100-year flood zone type thing or whatever, 1,000-year, whatever. You just want to kind of stay away from anything that doesn't have buildings around it. Okay, so I'd be comfortable with these. So we're going to go ahead and leave these on our spreadsheet. With that said, I am definitely going to make sure I look at every single one of these to make sure it's the same thing though. Okay, so you don't want to just second guess and say all these are going to be good. Okay, they're not. Not all of them are going to be good. You do want to check every single property that you are bidding on at a tax deed auction. Every single one. Look at it, look at the map, look at the zoning, okay? Look at the description, the use code. You want to look at all this, okay? Tax liens are different. Tax liens, you can just filter and bulk bid. Tax deeds are much different. You're going to have a lot more risk, and you own the property, so you want to make sure that you can build on it, you can sell it, you can sell or finance, whatever you're going to do to it, okay? So a lot of these are different mixed uses with the flood zones. So X is good, X is minimal. We like X. And looks like everything else is peachy keen. Okay, so yeah, so again, I would have to look at every single one of these, okay? It would take a lot of time. So I'm gonna do some more filtering for myself and figure out what I wanna do and see what's coming up. I usually only look 1 week at a time. I know we've got, let me go ahead and make a pivot here. So of my 327 that we just filtered through, it's going to dwindle down a little bit more, but I pulled this yesterday and I pulled the whole month of May. Already 20 properties, 2 counties have gone off, so I missed those yesterday. I do have some coming up in 3 days, so I'll probably want to check these. This is just 4 of them, and I like both of these counties. They're good counties. Indian River is another good county, especially with tax liens, if you're getting into that. Jackson County is different. I haven't seen a lot in Jackson County, so that'll be interesting. Lien and Volusia are also really good ones. So I've got 4 coming up by the end of this week. Next week, so next Monday. So I've got 3 days to do this. And then 6, 7, Escambia is another good one. Yep. Okay, so next week we have 69 auctions coming up. Hillsborough is another one that's kind of hit or miss. You can sometimes find some really good deals depending on where it's at and if there's a lot of bidders in that auction. Guys, I've been to auctions before, and you would think something like with 3 houses on 3 acres would go really high, and then people would just think that somebody else is going to bid high, and then it goes like super low. Okay, it really is a little bit of luck, okay? So, like I say, you know, tax deeds, tax liens, and a little bit of luck. That's all you need. So, with that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you got something out of it, go ahead and put it in the comments. If you have any questions whatsoever, I'm happy to answer them about tax deeds. And I hope you guys can start investing like the pros a little bit with this video and saddle up for success. I'll see you in the next one.